So just come to stillness and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just take a breath and let that breath be the deepest breath you've had today. And just inhale and slowly exhale. And start to notice the pivot between the in-breath and the out-breath, the moment where it changes from one to the other. The pause. And see if you can follow the journey of a breath all the way from when it meets your nose, all the way into your belly, your lungs, and then back out again. Just follow the trajectory of one breath. And feel your feet on the ground. And feel the light on your closed eyelids. And feel the temperature of the air in the room. And notice any sounds, including my voice. Notice the hum of your laptop, sounds outside, the sound of your own breathing. Feel your sitting bones in the chair and just let your body become 10% more comfortable. Just if you need to wriggle a little bit, then do. And just really let yourself settle into your chair. And arrive. Feel the tingle in your feet. Feel the tingle in your hands and fingers. Feel your forehead soften and your scalp soften. And allow your jaw to relax and imagine that your tongue is softening and relaxing inside your mouth. And now notice your breath and see if it's slowed down a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit deeper if you can. And now I'd like you to imagine that in front of you on the floor there is a circle of light, about a foot or two across in diameter, bright light, and I'd like you to imagine that you're getting up and you're stepping onto this circle of light. Just feel it in your feet. And I'd like you to imagine that this is a light beam that starts to lift you up. So it starts to rise from the ground, and on it you are standing safe and secure, and it's rising up. And as it does so, you are being lifted up through the room that you're in, and out through the ceiling, and out through anything that is above you. Maybe there are other floors in the building that you're in. And you're out above the building now, and you can see the rooftops. And you're rising higher and higher, and you're seeing the streets around you and the tops of the trees, the traffic and the people moving around, and you're rising higher and higher. Now you're around the birds flying higher and higher until you start to enter the clouds. And you're still on your beam, and everything that was your day is just far and far, far away below. And you'll keep rising up through the cloud cover, up now, high up into the Earth's atmosphere. High, 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 and it's starting to get into the space so you can see the stars and the blackness of the sky. Other stars and suns and planets in the distance. The earth is getting smaller and smaller beneath you. And you feel safe and you feel strong and you feel held. And you're just being lifted aloft by this beam of light. And gradually it starts to slow down. And it gets slower and slower and it begins to come to stillness. And it slows down and it stops. And it stops right beside another beam of light. This other beam of light is a different colour to the one that you were standing on. And I'd like you to step from one beam onto the other. It's very close, it's not a scary step, it's just one little footstep away. And now on this new beam of light, it starts gently going down. So this beam of light is now getting lower, and it's going down towards the earth, beginning to gather momentum. You feel safe and calm. You're being gently lifted down, down, down. Now you're leaving the Earth's atmosphere, going through the cloud cover. You're traveling down, and beneath you, you're coming back to Earth, but in a different location perhaps. You are in a location that is where you are going to be in 20 years. Don't overthink it. Just notice whether you're coming down into nature or city or where on the planet you might be. Don't overthink it though. Just notice as the beam retracts and goes down and down and down, and you can see the landscape and the topography of where it is that you're going to be living in 20 years. And it continues to reduce and go down, and you're now level with the trees, and now you're going down, 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 until the beam is at ground level. And it delivers you to the doorway, the front of the home, which you inhabit in 20 years from now. So just take a moment, step off the beam, and look around you. Just do a full 360. Notice where you are. Notice what you can see. Notice what you can hear. And turn to face the home that you live in 20 years. And just take it in. What does it look like? What does it feel like? It doesn't have to be literal. It could be a kind of abstract version of it, but just feel into what it feels like to witness the home that you live in 20 years. And imagine the front door. And imagine how you get to the front door. And now go towards the door. And ring the bell or knock on the door or press the buzzer or whatever it is that you do at the door. And wait a moment. And when the door opens, it is opened by you in 20 years from today. Just take that in. Just let the door open and stand there looking at you in 20 years. Smile at each other. And just scan them from top to toe. Just really take a good look at the you that you are going to become in 20 years. Look at their hair, their skin, their expression, their posture. How do they hold their shoulders? How loose or strong, or how are they in their being? How does their body look? What are they wearing? Can you identify a particular piece of clothing or jewelry or shoes or something that you really like? And how do they look at you? What is the expression in their eyes as they look at you? And now, having had a good look, greet each other. If you want to hug, hug. See how that feels. What kind of hug is that? What kind of love is here? And recognition and understanding. and curiosity. So when you separate from the hug, the future you is going to lead you into their home. And as you walk through the home behind them, just notice your surroundings. Notice what the colours are. Notice what the furniture looks like. Can you see any art on the walls? Follow them into the home. Let them show you around a little bit. Let them take you to their favourite place to sit, to their favourite spot in the whole house. Could be outside, could be inside. And as you go there, just be really curious about your surroundings, about what you can see. Are there books? If there are, can you see what their titles are? Is there music playing? What are the sights outside the windows like? How does the future you move? How are they in their body as they take you through their place? Are there any particular things that really stand out to you? Can you see a space where they work? Where they rest? Where they eat? You can always come back and look at more detail. So I'm just going to let the future you take you to their favourite sitting spot and sit down with you. So just take a rest with them. Notice how they sit. Notice how they are in their body when they're sitting. What kind of posture do they take when they sit? How close are they to you? Are they relaxed? What are they doing with their hands? And just notice their regard of you and notice your feeling towards them. And I want you to ask the future you if it's okay to ask some questions. And listen for their answer. And if they say yes, we'll proceed with some questions. If they've said no, just be in their presence and just tune into this future you. But I'm going to hope that they said yes this time. And if they didn't, you can always come back another day and go ahead with some questions. So the first question is, how do I become you? What is the path that I need to take in order to become you? However they want to answer that, just listen. I'm going to be silent and let you listen. And knowing you can always come back to these questions, I'm going to ask you to ask them, what is the most important thing that happens in the next 20 years? What's the most important thing you want to tell me about? And listen. And then ask them, how do I stay true to my essence as I move through life and become eventually you? What's the key to staying true to my essence, to myself, to my truth? And then I'd like you to ask, how would you like me to celebrate where I am right now? This particular point on my journey, 20 years younger than you are, how would you like me to honor this point on the journey? Do I need to do anything special to celebrate it or appreciate it? And if so, what would you suggest? And then ask, are there any daily practices or regular practices that you do that I could start doing now, or maybe I've already started doing them? What are the daily things that keep you on track? And then, who are the most important people in your life, future you? Maybe some of them I know now, maybe some of them I haven't met yet. Who are the most important allies, relationships, friends and family? And then ask, if you had one wish for me, what would that be? And then ask, how can I make the most of the opportunities that are available to me right now, the ones that make me most like you? And then ask, do you have any other advice for me that you would just like to tell me now? And then ask, can you give me a glimpse of the work that I will be doing when I am you? And then ask, what is a really important and interesting skill that you're really good at that I could start learning now? And then ask, what am I going to give up in order to become you? What do I relinquish and surrender? Any habits or behaviors or practices, or what do I give up in order to become you? And then ask, what do I begin in order to become you? What's fresh and new? What hasn't started yet that I need to start in order to become you? And then ask, what is your greatest joy? How do you have fun? How do you connect to your own inner guidance? And then I'm going to invite them to give you a gift, something that they can hand to you, an object of some kind. It could be physical, it could be a hologram or something. I don't know what it is. It could be a piece of jewelry or a stone. I won't tell you what it is. Just let them now give you a gift and let them explain to you what it means. And receive it. And thank them in whatever way you like. And then just hold eye contact with them for a moment, smiling at each other if you feel like smiling, taking in their being, their form, knowing that you will become them and that they will remember this conversation when you were 20 years younger and you hadn't yet experienced everything that they have experienced. And just feel the love they feel for you and the trust you can feel in them. Just be with that. And now knowing that you can access this being anytime you like, anytime you need to connect with your wisdom, with your guidance, with your own innate mental. I'm going to draw the conversation to a close, and you're both going to get up out of the favourite sitting spot and you're going to walk back through their home, taking it in again, maybe see some details that you missed on the way in. And you're going to walk through their home all the way back to the door. Notice everything as you walk through it. And when you get to the door, they're going to open it and you're going to hug each other goodbye, knowing that there really is no goodbye. That you are them and they are you. And then you're going to release each other and you are going to step back outside to where the beam of light is waiting. And you're going to give them a little wave and you're going to step onto the beam of light. And once again, it is going to start rising up from the ground, rising upwards strong and firm until it's level with the rooftop and then the treetops and then up, up, up until you see the whole landscape of where this place is. See the horizon. You're going up through the air all the way up until the place becomes smaller and smaller underneath you. All the way back up, level with the birds, higher and higher, till the whole countryside is tiny and far below, and you can see the outline of all of the topography in the country in which you're going to be living, all the way back up until now you're beginning to reach cloud cover and you're going through the clouds and way on up to that brilliant blue sky. And the higher you get, it starts to become darker and you start to enter into the outer reaches of the Earth's atmosphere and into space. And look up above and the vastness of the sky and the infinite number of stars. Higher, higher, higher until you gradually slow down. And you begin to come to stillness. And you eventually come to stillness, and in front of you is another light beam. And in that light beam, which is right in front of you, you can step forward onto the light beam, and you can gradually allow that light beam to begin to descend again. Slowly moving back down all the way through the night sky, through the cloud cover, down into the Earth's atmosphere, down towards where the birds fly, where the beginning of your familiar world starts to become visible to you, and you descend and descend. And you can see the shapes of the buildings and the place where you are now, and the outline of the landscape and the streets. And way down below, you can even see the building that you're in right now. And the light beam descends and descends until you're now level with the rooftop, and you're going through the roof, and you're landing back through the building that you're in. And you now find yourself that the light beam comes all the way down to floor level where you are sitting. You step off the light beam and you sit yourself back in the chair that you are in right now. And the light beam fades and disappears. And with your eyes still closed, you just start to become aware again of the room that you're in, of the light on your closed eyelids, of the chair that you're sitting in, of the temperature of the air on your skin, of the tingle in your feet, of the weight of your body, and of the breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, notice the interchange between in and out breath. Notice the interchange between out and in breath. And knowing that that future you is going to be breathing exactly the same way, in the same body, one day. Just know this constant. Feel the tide of this life in and out. And just start to come back into your toes. Wriggle your toes a little bit. Maybe wriggle your fingers a little bit. Maybe move your shoulders around a little bit. Maybe stretch your head. And whenever you are ready, very slowly open your eyes and come back to the room. And before you lose what happened, write down anything you want to write down about what your future self told you, about the gift they gave you, about what they were wearing, anything you want to write. And just take a moment to reflect.